The sky above Manhattan was supposed to be a canvas of dreams for Elise Hartley that day, a cloudless witness to the happiest moment of her life. Her wedding dress shimmered like a whisper of starlight as she stood on the rooftop garden of the Empire Grand Hotel, the city stretching behind her in majestic silence. Guests turned in hushed confusion. Her bridesmaids stood frozen, clutching their bouquets. The officiant glanced nervously at his watch. The violinists had long stopped playing, and her fiancé, tech mogul Richard Langston, was nowhere to be found. Elise stood alone beneath the floral archway, her heart beating louder than the absent music, her fingers trembling as the realization dawned: she'd been left. Not at the altar in some dramatic Hollywood twist, but quietly, cruelly, and completely abandoned without a word of explanation. A whispered apology from his assistant. A last-minute email. "It's not you. I'm not ready. I'm sorry." The world watched as the media seized the moment, headlines buzzing with speculation and mockery, but no one saw the shattered woman behind the corporate title. Elise, a 36-year-old self-made CEO of Hartley & Co., a leading marketing firm, who had spent her entire life building walls, only to have them collapse when she dared to let someone in. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the beauty of love that shows up when all hope is lost, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us share more heartfelt stories like this. Elise disappeared from the public eye for a while after the incident, burying herself in work, masking her pain with meetings, deadlines, and boardroom deals. But there were days when she would find herself staring at her reflection, haunted by questions. Was she too intense? Too ambitious? Too much? The betrayal cut deep, not just because she was left behind, but because it echoed every fear she had ever tried to silence. That love wasn't meant for women like her. 6 months passed. Autumn descended over the city, dressing the streets in gold and fire. Elise's assistant begged her to attend a charity event in Brooklyn, a small community fundraiser supporting underprivileged single parents. Normally, Elise would have declined, but something in her, the tired part, the lonely part, said yes. That night, Elise arrived in a navy coat and quiet hope, standing in the back of a modest gymnasium, filled with mismatched chairs, paper lanterns, and the laughter of children. It wasn't the opulence she was used to, but something about the warmth in the air began melting the frost around her heart. Then she saw him. He wasn't the type of man she was used to. Not in a tailored suit. Not with the bravado of wealth. He was wearing a checkered shirt rolled at the sleeves, laughing gently as he wiped chocolate off a young girl's face. His eyes held something Elise hadn't seen in a long time: sincerity. Depth, kindness without agenda. His name was Jack Monroe, a 39-year-old carpenter and single father of 6-year-old Sophie. He was there to speak about the struggles of parenting alone, about working 2 jobs to afford daycare, about the nights he cried silently so his daughter wouldn't hear. Elise listened, transfixed. Every word he spoke felt like a confession to the universe, unvarnished and brave. After the event, she found herself walking toward him, uncertain why. Jack smiled as she approached, not recognizing her. A rare and strangely comforting moment for Elise, who was tired of being seen only as the CEO. They talked, and time disappeared. He wasn't impressed by her title. He was curious about her soul. He told her about his late wife, who died in a car accident 3 years ago. How he'd been afraid he'd never feel anything again. And Elise, for the first time in years, told someone the truth about the day her wedding fell apart. That night, something shifted. They saw each other again. And again. Once for coffee. Then for dinner. Then on a spontaneous walk through Central Park with Sophie, whose small hand slipped into Elise's like it had always belonged there. But love, especially unexpected love, is never simple. Elise's friends warned her. You're dating a carpenter with a kid. Think about your reputation. Her board members voiced concerns about distractions. The tabloids, catching wind of her outings, labeled Jack the rebound dad. The scrutiny was brutal. and Jack, protective of Sophie, pulled away, afraid she'd be hurt again because of him. Elise confronted her own doubts. She had built her empire from nothing. She was used to being in control, used to plans, projections, and 5-year strategies. Jack didn't fit into any plan. He brought chaos. He brought complications. But he also brought something else: peace and joy, and the raw, terrifying beauty of something real. The breaking point came one evening in late December. Elise had just left a gala, where she was honored as Woman of the Year. Her smile thin under the weight of flashing cameras. She stepped into her town car, heart heavy, and instead of going home, she told the driver to take her to Brooklyn. When Jack opened the door, he was surprised, and not entirely happy. Elise was still in her gown, glittering and tired. "I don't know how to do this," she said, voice shaking. "But I know I don't want to do it without you." He stared at her for a long moment. Then, without a word, stepped aside and let her in. The days that followed weren't perfect. There were arguments, misunderstandings. Jack struggled with Elise's world. The formality, the wealth, the spotlight. Elise wrestled with her own vulnerability, trying not to armor up when things got hard. But through every storm, they kept showing up for each other, choosing each other. And Sophie adored her. On Elise's birthday, Sophie gave her a crayon drawing. It was stick figures. A woman with long hair, a man with a beard, and a little girl holding both their hands. On top, she had written, "My family." That night Elise cried harder than she had in years. Months later, Elise stood again beneath a floral archway. This time in a sunlit garden in upstate New York. There was no media, no grandeur, no pressure. Just a small gathering of people who mattered. Jack stood beside her, eyes full of tears. Sophie, in a white dress, scattered petals with uncontainable joy. And as Elise said her vows, she realized something profound: sometimes, the best things in life don't come when everything goes right. Sometimes they arrive in the wreckage, in the ruins of what you thought you wanted, and show you something far more beautiful. A love that doesn't ask you to change. A partner who meets you in your scars. A child who teaches you that healing can be a giggle, a drawing, a hug at the end of a long day.